want you to shout out. When we say leader, what comes to your mind?
Active.
Active.
Listener.
Listener.
Simple.
Advisor.
Simple person.
Simple.
Enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic. Come on, people.
Example.
Example.
Role model.
Role model. Follower. Yes. You cannot be a leader if you cannot be a good follower. That's very good.
Initiative.
Initiative. What else?
Visionary.
Visionary. Absolutely. What else?
Creative. Creative.
Yeah, okay.
Creative.
Having gratitude. Okay.
Creative. Creative.
Creativity. Okay.
Yeah, responsible.
Responsible.
Dynamic.
Dynamic. Accountable. Kind. Empathetic. Compassionate.
Yeah.
What else? Come on. I'm helping you. Viviana.
Positive.
Positive.
Loving.
Loving.
Patient. I think that people that are leaders, they are
Patience. Absolutely.
Courageous.
Courageous. How can ethical?
ethical.
Ethical. How can one word mean all these definitions and still be correct?
Leader.
Exactly. How can it be that usually when you look into a dictionary, one word means like 2 or 3 words or a simple phrase. But when you go in leadership, you can say, each one of you can come up with 10 attributes to a leader and you will all be correct. That gives you an idea how the idea of leadership is a huge umbrella that covers a lot of things under it. Like we're going to be studying a leader, conflict resolution, because a leader should be able to solve conflicts between their team and between other people. We're going to be, someone said communicative, you know, and they're going to have to be a listener, which is a better communicator. Problem solving, creative thinking, leading by example, team building, patient, visionary. I mean, all that has to be into what the leader is. Leaders research have been going on and on for years. People have been trying to know what is it to be a leader. So they found out, they discussed this first. What does it take to be a successful leader? And all the attributes that you said is only a part of how to be a successful leader. The most important part of being a successful leader is to have the passion to be a good leader. Without that passion, you're gonna be fake. You're not gonna be authentic. Authenticity is another attribute of leadership. What is the most effective leadership style? And we're gonna go through the styles, but I want you to remember these questions. And then listen, and communicate with empathy. The leaders spend time and effort to learn about their followers. It's in your book, by the way, Julian. It's in your book, so you don't have to worry about it. Everything is in your book. They take a genuine interest in helping followers finding out where they are, to discover where they are, and to help them discover within themselves how they can be better. It's not about empowering people or giving people power. It's to help people find the power inside of themselves. There is a big difference. There is a difference saying, so here, I'm giving you all this, go ahead and do it, instead of saying, you know what, like you said, in your mind, you can create this, so you can become successful. So it's about empowering people to find their skills within themselves, not only empowering people. They act as a role model, and they help followers become a bigger part of a team. When you achieve something by yourself, would it be the same quality, quantity, number that if you do it in a team? Would it be the same?
No.
Exactly. When you are in a team, you already are part of something a lot bigger than yourself. And you can achieve something a lot bigger than yourself. That's why there is no I in team. There is even I in team. Team is T-E-A-M. It doesn't have an I. It doesn't have an I. It's a way that we say it. So, leaders. A leader is someone who others trust and always look for guidance. inspires loyalty and trust. So loyalty, trust, and guidance. They can be managers, like we said before, but managers not necessarily can be leaders. And again, we are adding to the skills of leadership. A big part of leader's skill, and we're going to go through that into the presentation today, is to emotionally be attached to the team. If you don't get attached emotionally, you're not going to be able to interact as 100% as you want to do it. Because the only way we react to things is through emotion as human beings, and that's why there is a brand new science called emotional intelligence for leaders. It's a brand new science that started only a couple of years ago that people started to look at that emotional intelligence, and we're going to go through that today in the presentations. Like, if you don't apply emotions and feelings with people in every single interaction, they will not respond to you as you want them to respond. Even in marketing now, the marketing campaigns that are done right now, they appeal to your emotions, they appeal to your feelings, they appeal to your thoughts, because this is the way to change your wants to needs so you buy stuff. So feelings and emotions, this is the marketing, believe it or not, marketing definition these days. And it's called, it used to be like, it depended on the demographics only, and demographics were like the age, the gender, the location. But now it's psychodemographic, meaning it has to do something with the emotions and feelings of every single person. Thank you. Okay, we talked about leaders. Now we're going to talk about the leadership itself. You know, and leadership is about directing the behaviors of others towards a common goal or a common objective. Leadership is a complex process, and it has three parts: the leader, the followers, and the demands of the situation. That's what leadership, as in simply put, is three components: the leader, the followers or the team, and the situation and what it demands. There are different approaches. We're not going to go into details of that, but this is scientifically in books of leadership, this is how they say leadership developed, or how they called it. So the first one was the trait theory, and basically it said that if a leader has this character or these traits, then he's a leader. And then they found out that, you know what, people can have the same traits, but don't have that passion to be a leader, so they will not be good leader. Then came the behavior theory, which is depending on your behavior, not your character, you can be a good leader or a bad leader. And again, this presented itself as really a false theory. And then they came to situational theory, where depending on situation, you act or you behave in a certain way. And this evolved with time to different leadership styles. But again, really, if like you came here today, do you behave here the same way you behave at home? Do you behave with your husband the same way you behave with your children if you have children?
No.
Do you behave at work like you behave at home or here?
No.
Exactly. Every situation will dictate your behaviors and the kind of character you're going to be dealing with. The leadership styles are 11. We're going to go quickly into them, but you have them in details on your page 18 and 19. The first one is autocratic. Autocratic meaning that a leader says, this is what I want, this is what you're going to do, I don't care how you feel, I don't care what you think, this is my way or the highway. This is autocratic. Then comes participative, which is democratic. And we know all what democratic is, meaning like each one of us gets together, we have opinions, and then we build a big opinion for everybody to follow. Servant, a servant leadership meaning that you go out of your way to actually serve people. There are people that believe in servant leadership and people that they don't believe in servant leadership. I personally like servant leadership because it's my way of helping people and of serving people. It doesn't matter really if I get the credit or not. But there are some people that say when you are a servant leader just trying to help others, you don't get the credit. So does that really sound like a good leader? If they care about not getting the credit? No.
No.
Remember what we said? We said, you do things and it doesn't matter who gets the credit at the end. That's a good leader. And then bureaucratic, or delegative. Delegative, which is just like, you know what, just Cynthia, you do this, Irene, you do this, Julian, you do this, Viviana, you do this, without even thinking about what, because I just want to get rid of my responsibility. So that can work if my team is fit 100%. If I trust 100% that you guys are going to do no matter what it is, you develop your team, they are up here, and then you can tell them, okay, this is what we need to do, go ahead and do it. So you delegate authority to them. And it can work if your team is good. But if you just delegate just because you want to get rid of your functions, it will never get good results. Bureaucratic, where it's just like, we all know what government bureaucratic is, more or less. Or bureaucratic is like, you go by the rules, you're not...
The back.
Okay.
And plug it in the back, it's probably loose. No? Maybe not.
Okay. You're not flexible, and you just go by the rules, even if it makes sense or it doesn't make sense because you have to follow the rules. Laissez-faire. Laissez-faire is a French word, and laissez-faire means like, just let them do whatever they feel like doing. It's just like, whatever, I don't care. And that basically presents a way that tells you that that leader doesn't really care. Coaching, and the best way of leadership is coaching. And coaching is like when you actually develop your team's skills and traits and characters and behaviors to become, you act like the coach, like when you coach a football team or something, you become the coach. Task-oriented, meaning that you have a task in front of you, you say, okay, this is what we need, we know this, we put this plan to achieve this task and move on. Transformational is when you actually help people transform themselves and become better themselves. And charismatic is, do we know what charisma means?
Yeah.
Do we know where it's coming from? The source, the origin of it?
The person's confidence.
Yeah, but do you know the word charisma, where it originates from?
No.
It's a Greek word, means gift. Gift. And that's what charisma means. When people get on that stage, like Bill Clinton has a great charisma. I mean, he gets on that stage, and it's just like, boom. Exactly. We have a lot of actors that are charismatic. Each one of you is charismatic. You know what I mean? It's just like being there, and people just like you get this attention to you. Like everybody in the room just looks at you and wait for what you have to say or what you have to do. This is charisma. When people follow you just because of who you are, you attract people like a magnet.